Hello, howdy, hey there, and welcome to my new YouTube channel, Astral Ascension. My name is Angela, and here we will be talking about all things astrology and from time to time, perhaps even the tarot and other spiritual topics. I'm broadcasting live from my bedroom, and today we'll be talking about the sun in the 8th house. So, before we get started, I would just like to invite you to subscribe below, leave a comment if you have any feedback or questions or requests, and like this video if you like it. Without further ado, let's get into today's topic, which is the sun in the 8th house. With the sun placed in the 8th house, your personality, soul essence, your vitality shines most brightly in the house ruled by Scorpio, which ironically is associated with darkness. Hence, you shine in the dark areas of life, the taboo, the mysterious, the otherworldly, the esoteric. Darkness here is meant in the sense of that which is unknown or often overlooked. So, what is in the dark is often hard to see, of course, but you having your sun in the 8th brings illumination to these areas. So, with this placement, you are what astrologers would refer to as Plutonic. This is because the sun, being as important and powerful as it is placed in Pluto's and Scorpio's house. Even if you're highly identified with your sun's sign, having it shine through the 8th house means an aspect of you is undeniably Scorpionic. This placement generally means you have a profound interest in topics like psychology, spirituality, death, sex, and so on. You usually embrace conversations centered around these topics, and people are often very surprised by your insights into them. Additionally, if you're creatively inclined, this placement, along of course with others in your chart, show the areas you like to explore or portray. So things that are associated with the 8th house tend to come through in your expression. This can obviously look like a lot of things, of course, but maybe you try to express spiritual truths through your artwork. Regardless of how this looks, you like what you create to have deep meaning. You want somebody to stop and look at it and think, what does this really mean? What is the artist trying to say here? If you are, for instance, a painter, just simply painting something in your environment, like, a basket of fruit, isn't going to excite you or inspire you too much. You prefer to express things with more depth. Perhaps you paint things that are taboo or considered dark. Now, an 8th house sun is, of course, no lighthearted placement and, in a sense, makes you like a warrior. You have tremendous resilience and power. You do allow yourself to crash and burn at times, but that's because you understand the role destruction plays in creation and in rebirth. That's why I included an image of Kali. But you have the inner strength to pull yourself out of the flames, and that's why I included the image of the phoenix. So, having your sun in the 8th usually means you have an innate desire to transcend or transform. And in fact, you may spend a lot of your life going through intense periods of change, of chaos, that ultimately lead you to profound clarity and understanding. In fact, you may subconsciously be drawing challenging circumstances to yourself because of your psyche's need for constant growth and evolution. A lesson for this lifetime for you would be to bring this aspect of yourself into balance. Embrace challenging circumstances when they arise, of course, as they will almost certainly lead to growth. But on the other hand, usually it's not necessary to create chaos inorganically as a means for development. With this placement, it will happen to you naturally, regardless. So just embrace and allow. So, Sun in 8th, because you have gone so far within yourself through all these various periods of self transformation, understanding the psychology of other people comes naturally to you. You can easily perceive people's patterns, their motives, whatever limiting outlooks they have. Sometimes you can see indicators in their behavior of past trauma. And because you can do this, you often have very deep insights that a lot of times people will not be receptive or willing to hear, because in reality, you're seeing them more deeply than perhaps they have seen themselves, and they're not ready to look there yet. So keep in mind, most of us were not born with the sun in the 8th, and so your willingness to look so deep and to look, in the dark can be unsettling to some. On the other hand, there will be plenty of times your insight is not only received, but requested. Your understanding is, in fact, a gift. Just try to use it wisely and with consideration of where others are on their journey. A potential negative aspect to be aware of is that with the ability to understand people psychologically comes the ability to manipulate them if you wish, or sometimes manipulate them subconsciously without even meaning to. So here I'm just going to reiterate to use your gifts wisely and consciously when possible. So with this placement, there can be a hesitation to get into romantic relationships with others, because when you do so, you do it very intensely. This can be scary for you, even though it comes so naturally. When you come into union with another, you usually merge completely. Relationships have a tendency to bring to the surface patterns and unresolved trauma stemming from childhood, and having them at the surface, of course, means an opportunity to grow and transcend through them. So it's wise for you to be aware of this opportunity, because if any placement is capable of utilizing it to its full potential, it is the sun in the 8th house. So, since it is the sun being discussed here, it is likely that you take pride in this placement and its implications on your personality, as you should. Just don't be surprised if others are intimidated by your intensity or willingness to look where most look away. Now, quickly, I just want to go over some of the qualities that tend to be found in Sun in the 8th people. And so those are, as you see here, inquisitive, intense, introspective, being emotionally strong, intelligent, reserved, mysterious, and perhaps somewhat private. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you would like to see more content from me, please subscribe below, leave me a comment if you have any feedback, and I'll see you back here next week with another video.